People who say it is impossible are usually just projecting their own toxic trust issues onto the rest of the world.
That is just one opinion, but honestly, I never expected to hear what comes next. Marcus, 32, mechanic.
I absolutely do not have any female friends because a true friend is someone you constantly crave to see, someone you share your deepest secrets and vulnerabilities with. If you are giving that level of emotional intimacy to another woman while you have a wife or a girlfriend sitting at home, you are already destroying your relationship from the inside out. You guys love to call it innocent friendship, but we all know it is just a convenient backup plan waiting for a moment of weakness. I gladly chat with women at the office or at parties, but keeping a woman as a best friend is exactly how loyal families get completely ruined.
Sarah, 29, HR manager.
Marcus, your entire argument just screams profound insecurity and a complete lack of basic self-control. Just because you cannot handle being around a woman without ulterior motives does not mean the rest of us are incapable of mature, strictly platonic connections. My guy friends and I share a beautiful bond based on mutual respect and emotional support that my partner actually encourages because he is not overly jealous. You are projecting your own toxic temptations onto society, while we are simply out here building valuable human connections without reducing everything to basic animal instincts.
Leo, 24, tech startup founder.
This outdated idea that men and women cannot be just friends is total garbage pushed by insecure people who never evolved past the 1950s. I live with 2 female roommates. We travel together. We share everything. And there is absolutely zero tension because we see each other as human beings, not just walking opportunities. If you cannot maintain a friendship across gender lines, it simply means you lack emotional intelligence and view half the population as nothing more than objects. We have moved past these primitive boundaries, and honestly, you all just sound incredibly sad and isolated.
Tyler, 26, warehouse worker.
Leo, you are living in a delusional, progressive fantasy world, while the rest of us actually suffer the consequences of these lies. You talk about emotional intelligence, but my life was completely turned upside down when my so-called female best friend used me as a free therapist for 3 years before tossing me aside the second she found a boyfriend. I gave her all my time, supported her through everything, and she knew exactly how I felt but kept me around just to feed her own ego. Your modern rules are just an excuse for selfish people to exploit genuine loyalty without ever taking any real responsibility.
Does modern friendship only mean exploitation? Write your opinion in the comments. Dr. Eris, 45, neurobiologist.
Let us look at the actual neurological data instead of relying on emotional opinions and romanticized fairy tales. Multiple behavioral studies confirm that after a certain age, the physical brain simply loses the capacity to maintain purely platonic cross-gender bonds without triggering latent reproductive assessments. When you spend prolonged time with the opposite sex, your brain subconsciously processes them as a potential mate, causing microspikes in oxytocin and dopamine. You can pretend you are just friends all you want, but you are actively fighting against millions of years of hardwired evolutionary biology. And biology always wins.
Chloe, 31, freelance artist.
Eris, you are using clinical research to justify reducing complex human beings to nothing but mindless biological robots. Just because some study says my brain releases chemicals, it does not mean I am stripped of my free will and forced to ruin my 10-year friendship with my best guy friend. We have been through immense struggles together, supported each other through terrible grief, and none of it was driven by some hidden evolutionary agenda to reproduce. Your absolute obsession with statistics completely ignores the reality of human consciousness, making your safe scientific worldview feel like an absolute prison.
Jessica, 28, nurse.
I honestly feel terrible for anyone who has never experienced the pure joy of having a best friend of the opposite gender. My friend David and I do absolutely everything together, from late-night diner runs to helping each other pick out outfits for dates. There is a unique, comforting perspective you get from a guy friend that you just cannot get from women, and it is entirely free of drama or hidden motives. People who say it is impossible are usually just projecting their own toxic trust issues onto the rest of the world, because my friendship is the most stable and supportive thing I currently have in my life.
David, 29, accountant.
Jessica, as a guy who spent 5 years being the exact same kind of best friend, I need to tell you that he is absolutely suffering in silence. I did the late-night dinners, I listened to her complain about terrible guys, and I pretended I was perfectly happy just being her emotional support animal, because I was terrified of losing her completely. You think there is no drama, but he is likely agonizing every single time you go on a date, hoping you will finally wake up and notice him. You are not enjoying a pure friendship. You are just blindly exploiting his hidden feelings to keep yourself comfortable and entertained.
Does anyone always secretly hope for more? Share your opinion. Kevin, 38, club promoter.
Let us cut the absolute garbage and be brutally honest about what goes down when the drinks start pouring and the lights go out. I have seen thousands of these so-called platonic besties in my clubs, and give them a few drinks and a minor fight with their boyfriends, and those strict boundaries completely vanish in a second. It is a massive lie sold to naive partners so people can keep a roster of backups safely orbiting around them. Stop pretending you are evolved. You are just keeping your options open and lying straight to your partner's face while calling it a beautiful friendship.
Elena, 34, teacher.
Kevin, you are judging the entire world based on the absolute trash you surround yourself with at 3 in the morning. Just because you and your club-going friends have zero morals and cannot keep your hands to yourselves does not mean the rest of us operate in the same disgusting, deceitful way. I have had the same male best friend since high school. We have both been married for years, and our families literally spend the holidays together without a single inappropriate thought. Your pathetic, twisted worldview is exactly why people like you end up completely alone and deeply miserable.
Someone is always lying or someone is always hurting. Subscribe right now, hit the comments, and tell us who is actually telling the truth.